Hey guys, welcome to Draw Near Moment. My name's Titus Fuller. It's that moment of the week where we draw near to Christ together. I just saw this movie called God's Not Dead, and I want to give you my take on it. Now, I'll be honest, I've been kind of dodging this movie. I wasn't really expecting to like it all that much, but I gotta say, to my amazement, I actually really liked the movie. It brought a lot of interesting arguments and a lot of interesting dialogue and themes and just all around awesome. And I've seen a lot of Christian movies before, and they kind of have that level of cheese, that's in them. And this movie didn't really feel that way. In fact, I'm really excited because this is like one of the first movies I've seen that I felt like, as a standalone movie, this is actually really good. And it excites me. But with all that said, I just want to tell you this is probably my favorite Christian movie. So if you haven't seen it, before I get into the nitty-gritty and the details of it, you may want to stop this video and go watch it. And so I want to give you a chance to do that right now.
I'm Professor Radisson. This semester I propose that we refuse to waste our limited time together debating the existence of the big man in the sky. Fill in the papers I've just given you with 3 little words. God is dead.
Now, there's so many interesting themes in this movie and characters, and really I think anyone can relate to at least one of the characters or one of the situations in this movie. But the main character is this kid named Josh. Now, it's his first year of college, and he has a philosophy class with a teacher that is a hardcore atheist, does not like God, does not even want to pretend to even acknowledge the existence, whatever. And decides on the first day of class this professor decides to make them all sign a piece of paper that says God is dead. Now this is a problem because Josh is a Christian. So there's this internal struggle, this internal battle. Does he stand up for what he believes in, or does he, kind of take the easy way out and just say, I do believe in God, but I'm just going to act like I don't just to pass the class, which is interesting because I wonder how many times in my life I have, allowed my beliefs not to be the center of what I do, and I just made small compromises because it would have been so easy for him to just sign the paper and just say, God wouldn't want me to fail this class or something like that. But it's really cool because he decides to stand up, and this opens up an awesome opportunity for him because the teacher allows him to pretty much debate and teach a few lessons to the class. Now, these are really awesome, and basically they're lessons where he gives his arguments and the center and his core of his beliefs for why he thinks God isn't dead. In fact, he thinks God is alive and thriving and all that stuff. Now, I wasn't expecting them to be really solid arguments. I kind of thought there'd be cliche and stuff that I've heard before, but they were actually some really interesting arguments. In fact, the first one really, I think, the whoever came up with the script and all that stuff, and the character that plays Josh, they really nailed it. And he even ends with this statement that I think is so powerful, saying that you don't have to commit intellectual suicide to believe in God. And, that's something I've thought in the past. I'm just like, man, that was just so powerful, such a powerful statement to throw in the face of all these people who apparently believe that God is dead.
Watches his mother dying of cancer. The God who would allow that is not worth believing in. Life is really a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury and signifying nothing.
Now, one of the things this movie unearthed for me was the concept of a God hater. And I never really thought about it that way before, but the professor in this movie is clearly a person who hates God. He doesn't like the idea of God. He doesn't like people who like the idea of God, and he does everything he can to convince people that God doesn't exist. And the movie even suggests, and by the way, he's not the only one. There's a lot of these people out there. Or at least they're very vocal people. And you've seen them on Facebook, you see them on YouTube, you see them on Twitter, and there's a bunch of them out there. But it was interesting because I love how the movie kind of goes to this thing where it's like, how can you hate somebody that doesn't exist? And it made me think, it's like, that's such an amazing argument to those people. Not that I'm trying to win an argument with these kind of people, but what's the point of these people trying to argue against God? what's the gain for them? Now, on our end, they could say, well, Christians, what's the point of converting people? What's the point of reaching out to people? Well, for us, it's like, well, heaven and hell's on the line. It's kind of a big deal, but for them, what's the gain? Why does it hurt them to allow someone to believe in God? And why does it make sense to them to try to talk them out? Now, I'm not trying to say that all atheists are God haters. I think some of them are truly just genuine. I don't believe in God. I don't care what you believe. I just don't believe in God. And, it's just an interesting concept, and something that before this movie I hadn't really thought about before.
The answer's simple. Drop the class.
Like it's something that God wants me to do. I can't just turn away from it.
Now, by far, for me personally, the most powerful thing in this movie was something that you could kind of see going all the way throughout the movie. You could kind of see it it's almost as if the director was trying to inadvertently get this message out, but it was the idea that what if all those times in our lives where we're like so frustrated, we're like, work's been busy, my car won't start, I'm in this hard situation because my professor doesn't like me, whatever it is, what if we kind of flip that on its head and say, what if God actually saw this coming and signed off on it and allowed it to come? What kind of life would you be able to live? And that, man, I was just like, that is awesome. Like, that's something I want to strive to do. I want to try to take every bad situation in my life and just say, man, God may actually be doing something in this. And if I'm open to God doing something in this, God may use me to do something incredible. But if I want to be frustrated and all that stuff, then I'll miss out on the blessing. And so almost it makes me want to second guess anytime I'm going through a hard spot, anytime I'm in a rough spot or whatever, to second guess and wonder, God, what are you doing here? What's about to happen? And that is such an exciting concept. Because really, the truth is God does know everything that's coming. And if God didn't want it to happen, it would not have happened. And what if we lived like that?
You just want to ensnare them in your primitive superstition.
What I want is for them to make their own choice. That's what God wants.
You have no idea how much I'm going to enjoy failing you.
Yeah, but who are you really looking to fail? Me or God?
Now, by far, the coolest thing this movie did was at the very end with the amazing challenge it had. To text everyone in your contact book saying that, or whatever, on your phone or on Facebook or whatever, saying that God is not dead. And it was kind of cool because I'm a little late to the whole God's not dead thing. And I remember when this movie came out getting this text, and I was like, okay. And I got it from a bunch of people. And it's such an interesting idea, because when was the last time you've seen a movie end with a challenge? It was so interesting because it turned from you being the spectator to all of a sudden it's like, now the ball's in your court. What are you going to do? And I got to say, I was like, whoa. I was not ready for that. I was like, are you talking to me? Like, it was weird. It was so weird because it had this weird feel to it, but it was so cool and such a powerful thing. Now, last week I talked about the idea of like an internet revival, something going viral. Man, this is a really, really cool thing that, went viral. I mean, a lot of people did it. And the fact that it touched me and touched Leslie and touched a lot of other people out there is such a cool thing. And I really would love to see more movies do this sort of thing, to push an awesome cause to the people around them. What an awesome idea. And, other ministries should follow their lead for sure. Not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on me. So that's my take on God's Not Dead. Now, I tried to avoid spoilers, and even if you did watch this and you haven't seen the movie, I highly, highly recommend watching the movie. There's a whole lot more stuff to it than what I talked about right here. And I know that you will be blessed just like I was. Seriously, I had goosebumps all over me for till the end of the movie. It was really incredible. And the last couple scenes specifically were really, really intense. So check out the movie. It was great. It was unbelievably great. I don't care if you're a Christian or non-Christian. Check it out. And seriously, and those are my thoughts. I want to hear yours. So let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie, or if you haven't seen the movie, let me know why in the comments, or let me know what you thought as well. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Draw Near Moment. My name is Titus Fuller, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you liked it, hit that subscribe button. That will help me out. And by the way, if you're on a mobile device, the buttons on the screen don't work. A lot of people have kind of been asking me why they don't work. They only work on a computer. But you can, if you find the description below, all the same links are there too. So you can click on it there. And also, follow me on Twitter. It's @Titus Fuller. And not a lot of people are following me there right now. You could be one of the first to, this is huge. You could be on the ground floor. So go do that. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Draw Near Moment. And thank you again for joining me today. See ya.